I'm a huge believer that everybody is a genius in their own way. Let me tell you a story. When I was still doing my GCSEs, I've spoken about this tutor before, and we were all in a group study basically. There was me and 7 of my friends from class. In that class, he would go up to each of us and say what he thinks our genius type is. So he would say that someone has the maths touch, physics touch, chemistry touch, which means that they're a genius in that sense. Well, for me, I didn't get anything. I didn't have a genius type basically, and obviously being the one that didn't have it as compared to 7 of my friends who did, that was really embarrassing for me in that class. But I tried not to let it get me down, although a lot of the times my confidence did get a huge hit. Being able to do well, you need to have a lot of confidence in yourself. Now, one quote that helped me build the confidence back in myself was a quote that we kind of think was from Albert Einstein, but we have no idea how to prove that. So it was this quote that said, "Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." Now, this quote really resonated with me because it made me feel like I was validated. That for one, it felt like I was told that if this is not serving you, if this situation is not for you, then it's not your fault. It's just the way it is. But I feel like I saw it in a slightly different way to other people, because I think a lot of people who would see this quote would be like, okay, this doesn't serve me, I'll just let it go. But for me, it was more like, if it doesn't serve me, then I need to make changes accordingly so that I can adjust to the situation and make it better for myself. During that time, what I realized was that I was struggling a lot with catching up with the rest of my friends. Remember, according to my tutor, they're all geniuses and I'm not. So imagine you're trying to catch up in a room full of geniuses. This made me kind of fall behind even faster than I should be, just because I was slower than everybody else. I had 2 tutors, by the way. In the end, I had to have 2 tutors because one was slower than the other, so I could catch up a little bit more. Eventually, I figured out how to do things on my own and give myself a little bit more time. But this means that I had to give myself extra hours in the day just to catch up with the rest of my friends. Welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm Patricia, if you guys don't know me yet and have just found me for the first time today. I'm a study TikToker on TikTok with over 70,000 followers now, which is so amazing. And I share a bunch of tips, a bunch of motivation, and just a little bit of my life really on TikTok. Now, this is why I believe that you are a genius. When it comes to being a genius, it is not about the knowledge that you know. It is not about how much you know, what you can do, what grades you get. It is more about the potential that you will have. The potential of your growth, the potential of your progress, how much space you're giving to yourself to expand and improve your knowledge. Now, this doesn't mean that you only have to be good at one thing. You can be a genius by knowing a bunch of things as well, but also in-depth study about it. So you are a genius not because you know what you know, but you are a genius because you have the ability or the capacity to learn, to grow, and to adapt. When it comes to being good at studying, when it comes to being successful in this life, I purely definitely believe that a person who is confident in themselves will be successful. People who can trust themselves to do the right thing, to make the right decisions, will do well in life. And that's purely because they have the capacity to do that. The journey to become a genius may be quite tumultuous in a sense, or in some cases may be easy, while some cases may be difficult. I would say in this case, it purely depends on the subject. If you're studying something that you've never learned about before, then obviously it's going to be difficult. I feel like the word delusional comes with a negative connotation in a sense. A lot of people see it as oh, you're delusional, so that means you're never going to achieve it, things like that. You're just way in over your head, basically. But I don't know why people say that, Because people always say, fake it till you make it. I always see like those motivational quotes and a lot of like podcasts and things like that where people say, fake it till you make it. And isn't faking it till you make it basically being delusional? So I don't understand why saying fake it till you make it is such a good thing, but saying I'm delusional is not. When you're being delusional, obviously don't be too delusional, but when you have to somewhat be delusional to an extent in order to do well in life. Because how can you say, like, for example, you've just started doing something new and you're like, oh yeah, this is so difficult, I'm never gonna be able to do it. If you're not delusional, then you're always gonna believe that you're never gonna be able to do it. But because you're slightly delusional, then you're like, you know what, maybe it's not that bad. I think it's actually quite easy. And it switches like a little switch in your brain where you're like, huh, it actually is easy. And that's exactly what happened with me. Like, I was so bad at my studies. I studied 15 hours a day, by the way. I went to school and I studied. I had lessons. I had 4 hours of lessons afterwards. And I had 2 tutors. And I studied on top of that as well. And I was still sitting at an E. An E! With all of that effort, I got an E. And imagine every single person, what they would say to me. Of course, they would say, oh, you didn't put in too much effort. Oh, you should work harder. Oh, you're on your phone too much. Oh, you're on your laptop too much. Oh, you're on your iPad too much. You read too much books. You play too much games. I was studying 15 hours a day minimum. Some days I was doing more, and people were saying this to me because they do not know what I'm doing. They only know what the end product is, and that end product was an E. It made me so upset about myself. It made me feel like it literally crumbled me. But when I'm crumbled to the ground, that's when I pick myself up, and I will literally turn my entire life 180 degrees because of it. Which is why I believe that I'm a genius. Not because I know a lot of things, which I think I do. I don't know as much as Albert Einstein would, but I think I have quite a lot of experiences in life, and I think I know a lot of things in terms of like STEM and things like that as well. But ask me anything about business, I probably won't know anything about it. But I can somewhat say that I'm a genius because I'm able to understand these things, because I have the emotional and the social and the physical capacity to understand that becoming a genius or being a genius is not about knowing what I know, but about the growth I have. And that is why with every single one of my students, I don't care what they do in the end. Obviously, if they get good grades, that is perfect. And if that is what they want, I will give it to them. But I have students who come up to me and they're like, oh, please don't be upset. I got bad in this monthly test. I don't care if you get bad in this monthly test, because what I look for is your progress. If I see that you are progressing and you are making developments in your study, if you are becoming more confident in yourself, trusting yourself a bit more, that is all I care about. Because once you can do that for yourself, you can fulfill your own needs and you will not depend on anybody else. And if you can do that for yourself, you will trust yourself even more. And if you trust yourself even more, you can tackle anything in this world. To this day, because I trust myself so much, I do chemical engineering, a subject that people say is one of the most difficult things to do in the world. And I find it easy peasy lemon squeezy. I never struggled in a single subject because I trust myself and I trust that I will be able to find a way to tackle the challenges that are given to me. I trust myself that when things do get hard, I know how to seek out help for it. I trust myself enough to know that even with less hours of studying, I will be able to retain all of that information. And all of that is just a shift of your mindset. It literally is. You just have to fake it till you make it. And what did I say before? Faking it till you make it is being delusional. So when I say you are a genius, yes, you are a genius because you have it in you. Now it's time for you to be delusional enough to actually plant that seed in your mind and believe that you are a genius. You need to believe that every single day. Even when things get hard, believe that you are a genius. When things get difficult, when you see a question that's difficult, you're like, That's fine. I'll figure it out anyways. I know how to do that. It's so easy. Things like that. It's just that you need. You are a genius. I believe in you. Everybody else believes in you. But most importantly, you believe in yourself. But yeah, aside from that, thank you so much for listening to this talk. And I love you guys. Till the next time.